Well, next I want to turn to my conversation with the delegate to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Morocco. You know, Morocco is actually the second largest investor in the African continent that's also on the continent, Phil, and they're doing some exciting work on the continent. I started by asking her how the country has managed to attract its own levels of foreign direct investment from countries such as Renault, the automaker, and tech giant Dell.
Become attractive because we offer first stability and security, and second we offer a vision, a clear vision, and we offer guarantees. And I think for any investors, any foreign investors who is looking for a country to go to, he needs this like three very important components, and that's what we do.
What about this reform that you're working on, getting more into the private sector, away from the public sector? How is that going? And tell us a little bit about that effort.
Well, Morocco has adopted an approach of private-public partnership in different sectors. And this approach worked very well because it is one of the best ways to attract private sector by giving them the guarantee from the public sector, but also by involving the public sector in different sectors and industries. And that's what we do. We do it for sectors like social housing. We do it for sectors like agriculture. We do it also for sectors sometimes. We do it also to create small and medium enterprise, to promote the creation of small and medium enterprise by giving some guarantee funds, public guarantee funds, and enhancing, like private banks, for example, to take the risk with the new investors.
You have been an entrepreneur yourself. Does that give you a certain amount of wisdom to try to solve the problems that you had as an entrepreneur for the future entrepreneurs of Morocco?
Of course, it's an experience when you've been an entrepreneur yourself. You have the experience with the administration mainly. You have the experience with the tax management also, and you try to find solutions. Of course, we keep improving the system every year and every time we can. We have a new budget, for example, that we're working on for next year, and in this new budget we're trying to find a solution for the very, very small enterprise, or what we call let's say individual enterprises. We try to find solutions also for the informal economy, etc. So of course, having an experience gives us this opportunity. But more than that, if I have to talk about my experience, I think there's something interesting to tell you, is that the reason why I went through the entrepreneurship in Morocco is because I saw the liberalization of the communication and the media in Morocco. And that was for me, that started in 2003, and that was for me a very big revolution, an opening of the country to, let's say, to the freedom of expression in general, and to the youth. And I think at least for me, that was a very, very important step forward for Morocco into democracy, into the opening of the country, and also it was giving a real hope to all this youth living in Morocco, but also living abroad, to come back to Morocco and to invest in Morocco. And that's what happened.
And it's continuing to happen.
Yes, it continues to happen.
So I want to bring up this other aspect of your economic development model, which is to invest in the rest of the continent. Morocco is second only to South Africa in investing in Africa. What sectors are you most interested in, and how does it help Morocco to be so engaged in the economies of its neighbors?
Well, listen, Morocco has been involved in Africa for years now. It's not something new, but the new thing is now we're talking about what we call triangular cooperation, which means that we're trying to promote our know-how in Africa. Morocco is very interested in Africa because of many reasons. The first one is the proximity, cultural proximity with Africa. And second one is, of course, the need of our companies to go abroad sometimes. And we are very present in different sectors, especially in finance, in banking. You know that Moroccan banking and Moroccan finance system is well known at the international level. We've been probably one of the first countries in the region that had since years, decades now, a liberal and open finance banking and sector, which that was in Morocco. We also invest in electrification and power because we have such an experience. We've been through the generalization of electrification in Morocco. We've been going also through the generalization of access to water in Morocco, and now we're sharing such an experience with different countries in Africa because we know that the need there is there. I mean, the need is for electrification. The need in Africa is to get access to water. The need also is to build social housing to the population, and that, I mean, we've been through that for years now, and we found solution, and we think that our solution can be totally adapted to other African countries, and that's why we go there. That's why we work together with our brothers in Africa, and that's why now we try to promote such a triangular cooperation, because we believe that we can do it with countries like USA, for example, who is really interested to go to countries in Africa.
I wonder, in terms of foreign direct investment, we've talked a lot about U.S. foreign direct investment, but how much interest are you getting from Asia, specifically China?
Well, China is showing a very big interest in Africa. China is becoming now, I think they are the fourth investor in Africa, with the objective to be the first, or at least the second main investor in Africa. Probably the advantage of China is the low cost of, let's say, the low cost of everything when they come to Africa, when they invest in Africa. They can do things with low prices, and this is their first advantage. Second advantage is that China is willing to take risks, which is not the case in countries maybe like US or others, because Africa represents strong potential, but sometimes it represents also big risk, especially when we do not have maybe the same standards, international standards, than what you do have here. And I think that can be a barrier sometimes for some investors, but it's not the case for China, for example, or for countries that really believe, or countries who really believe in Africa.